Good day, dear colleagues. Well, a very promising start. I haven't said anything yet, but you already give me a round of applause. Well, we know each other very well. A year ago, we got together in the same conference hall. I can see lots of familiar faces, what means that we can continue our dialogue that we have had for several years. So our today's subject is a logical continuation of our previous talks. And basically, we are going to present you what we have done within the past 12 months in our sphere. So all in all, many are actively participating in other events of Finapolis, and you understand very well that the core topic of discussion is artificial intelligence here at Finapolis, and we also are going to discuss today artificial intelligence, and the topic of today's session is the digital audit, AI or humans. And a year ago, we already addressed this question to ourselves. So we were trying to answer what is more important, who's more important, humans or AI. Can they be a good collaboration or they can be a standoff? And a year later, we can have a more detailed discussion. We can discuss the results that we have received. And let us take a look at problems and risks that we also have countered. And we can make one more step forward along this journey. So I suggest that today we focus on the core four issues. That is collaboration of humans and AI for achieving greater results. We already have some results, but we can always do more and better. Certainly, we will discuss the artificial intelligence and its role in the audits. And there are many spheres for interaction here. And there is a number of risks that we already have faced. The role of the auditor in the era of the digital transformation, also a very important topic we cannot avoid. And we have just heard a very informative discussion related to having providing trained and skilled personnel. And of course, we want to tap into the future, and if we are able to give any forecasts for the future, even the near-term future, that certainly will be very useful for all of us. Well, I have already told you that we are at the stage of being able to talk not only about the future, but also do some summaries about the past. And it is no doubt that the artificial intelligence transforms our business and gets into our daily life. It transforms our methodologies, standardization processes, ways to train personnel. And by looking at the overall market experience, we can see that the auditing activities will be changed in the following ways. First and foremost, we mean the automation of all the processes. And of course, audits are going to be of high quality. And I can give you several examples in this regard. We had a meeting of the chief auditor, and our colleagues demonstrated the results that have been achieved so far and that enable us to increase the quality. The artificial intelligence already can generate reports, prepare recommendations, and do it automatically. So when it comes to collecting, processing, analyzing data, that is also something very important because it increases the accuracy, helps to reduce the number of human errors related to entering data. And this is something very obvious, something what I should not be convinced about. Quick identification of potential risks and problems, quick response to them, reducing risks related to the fraud, and also reducing risks related to inefficient systems of internal control, improving communication, effective interaction between the auditors and the inspected or audited companies, and also reducing the costs on personnel and also reduced manual labor load. And of course, that may also be associated with certain issues, something what I hope we will be able to discuss today. As you have heard during the previous sessions, everyone understands that the financial sector is the driver for developing information technologies, integrating artificial intelligence. That is something what we can be proud of. However, I would not rest on the laurels, and I would rather take a closer look at the experience that our colleagues accumulate in other spheres of economics. You may remember the address of Sergei Sobyanin, the mayor of Moscow, and he was talking about significant successes in various spheres where AI is applied. First and foremost, that is healthcare, municipal management, educational sphere, and so on. And as we get together with colleagues and we study the experience, we understand that with all our successes in the financial sector, there is so much to learn from the colleagues that work in the real economical system. So by starting our discussion and by addressing the questions for the speakers, I would like to hold a small poll, and from your standpoint, what is going to be the most productive area for AI compared to the work of people? Are there any industries or any sectors where AI may not be fully efficient? So we are talking about finances and audit, production, medicine, healthcare, and services. So where in 20 years' time AI will be most effective, where it will be more effective compared to the humans. And so we are going to conduct this poll, and by the way, artificial intelligence will also participate in this poll. Okay, now we can you can vote, you can scan the QR code. Off you go. So it is for a reason I said that we should take a look at the achievements in other speakers, and we, for a reason, brought representatives from many spheres. Here I have Andrei Chistyakov, the head of the internal audit service at Sberbank. We welcome Oleg, and Oleg is the constant member of our discussions. He is a member of the council on the auditing activities. I don't think you should really introduce him as well as Sberbank, but he belongs to the flagship company in the financial sector. Next to Oleg, we have Tatyana Baturitskaya. Why am I introducing her this way? I really believe that she is flower of our auditing community. And I'm talking not only about the appearance, but also her level of professionalism. She's the head of the internal audit of the National Bank of the Republic of Belarus. Let us welcome her and our colleagues in Belarus. And our other colleague from the National Bank is not here today with us. We still are very happy to welcome him. Azat Gabrielian, the chief auditor of the Bank of Armenia. Anna Lerner, the chief auditor of Rostelecom. Anna is also a well-known figure for this audience. She trained us, and we learned a lot of innovations from her. So I believe that this year the past year was very productive, and I'm sure that Anna will be pleased to share the progress that Rostelecom has made. And one more charming lady, Yulia Urozhaeva, head of the Department of Nature Resources Use at the city of Moscow. And it is for a reason that I have already mentioned the mayor of Moscow. The successes of the city of Moscow are obvious, and we are very thankful for the government of Moscow because we learned a lot. Not long ago, we held a very good meeting, and I am very thankful that you shared so many findings with the employees of the central banks. Lots of findings in the areas of real estate management and so on. And finally, I'd like to introduce Galina Delvig, who is the director of the Department for Managing Internal Risks at Gazprom Neft. And here I'd like to add that Galina Urozhaeva held a fantastic masterclass not long ago at St. Petersburg, and our employees were so inspired by the achievements that you already have in your sphere that after Gazprom Neft, I cannot say that we, representatives of the financial sector, are at the forefront. Well, maybe it's a different audience. I may say that, but here, having the representative of Gazprom Neft, I cannot say that. Well, they do have lots of achievements. They use robotic technologies, artificial intelligence, and they have not only the need for using the innovations, but they have also great opportunities and resources for developing those innovations. So it's great that you have it all. Well, our voting is over. And now I would like to give the floor to Oleg Vladimirovich, since you are the flagship company in this regard, since you concentrate lots of financial and human resources in this sphere. We will start with you. I'd like to hear about the new achievements and new challenges that you have faced so far when it comes to the audit. And I'd like to know what kind of tools do you use, and being on the forefront, what would you recommend to others, to the central bank as well? And we have so much to learn after all. So what will you recommend when it comes to integrating artificial intelligence in the auditing sphere? Well, thank you, Valery, for giving me the floor. First of all, I'd like to say that AI development is a very costly endeavor. Sberbank spends around $1 billion on developing AI, and not only on R&D projects, but also on GigaChat, and also on introducing the AI tools in the business processes. Now, 75% of all bank processes are equipped with these tools that allow to make decisions without the human engagement, decisions regarding given loans, and there are products that already allow just in a matter of 7 minutes to issue loans to the entities. So as for the internal audit, the Sberbank has no other option but use AI technologies. We use data-driven approach, so it's audit around data, and we have various analytical tools that we use. That includes the tools that have to do with artificial intelligence. I can name 6: process mining, graph mining, computer vision, speech analytics, methods, text mining, natural language processing, and code mining. So if we talk about the scale of our data management, I can say that this approach has allowed us over 450,000 processes. That's a lot, and we are having 100% selection, and this is not a whim, it is actually a need, because analytical tools imply a large set of data, big data, so the larger volumes of data you have, the more insights you can get. So the internal audit now is number one user of our data factory. Over 30% of all Sberbank capacities related to data processing and data storages account for the internal audit, and that costs around 2 billion rubles per year for Sberbank. So what does Sber receive for this money? You know, the audience just felt completely silent after hearing these figures. Well, indeed, it is a very costly endeavor, especially when it comes to developing the technology. So talking about results, I will start with the tools. Our core tools are process mining and graph mining. Process mining allows to identify various abnormalities or trends, reverse loops, bottlenecks, animal operations, gaps in some activities, and so on. That happens in online manner, and that allows to gain a good understanding of what is going on with the bank processes. As for graph mining, based on traditional activities, it allows to identify the linked groups of clients, to identify fraud operations, identify patterns, and so on. So these two technologies allow us to check not only bank controls and risk management systems, but also see the problems and possibilities related to customer experience. So over the past 9 months of our audits, business could improve the client experience for over 55 million clients. We also find possibilities and processes to improve the financial results, and over the past 9 months we already were able to bring 9 million rubles, and we can say that we are a self-sustainable department. Talking about some other examples, well, I can tell you that all the tools are used together, so it's rare thing when you use a standalone tool. I'll give you an example. This year, we have identified several crime groups that would do money laundering, flow of capital, and drug traffic. So how did we do it? We did it with the help of artificial intelligence, with graph mining. We have identified the group of individuals that did illegal operations, and we realized that they were non-residents. For instance, they were the citizens from Ukraine, so we asked for their scans of passports, and due to computer vision, we understood that several thousand passports were issued for same people with the use of same photos. So the blanks were original, and however, we understand that the people would open bank accounts in different cities. So we decided to see what was going on with the citizens of Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan. Well, they don't have passports. They have special ID cards. So with the use of computer vision, we also could identify the fraud group or crime group as well. So I'll give you another interesting example. We have cameras in the office, and these cameras also record voice, and it's a very interesting subject. So when we use voice, we can identify some abnormal operation or some non-bona fide practice of sale practice from our employees. This can be an imposed product or not adequate consultation and so on. So why would you want to use AI? First of all, the company itself should be mature and should have big data. So if your processes are digitalized and you have data storage, then you have already two important components because this it may be out of your area of impact. The rest is in that area. So at the initial stage, you can use open source. And of course, trained personnel matters, and as well as the desires. So good luck. Well, listening to your to your speech, I think many people in this audience, as well as me, I felt kind of envious, but at the same time, I've been thinking just using actual information technologies and using artificial intelligence, it is getting obvious that we can reduce engagement of labor force and save up some finance, and I'm pretty sure you've been doing it. But the thing is that you can reduce number of employees in the auditing service as well as the total amount of employees, because you've been talking about the control of the second stage, the security department, those that are into the issuing loans. Do you have any risk in this regard? Well, I see here lots of opportunities in the very first place. There are two options here: just to wait when the auditors are laid off, or some other departments would be replaced thanks to the artificial intelligence opportunities. For the first time next year, I can tell you that actually we are provided with more finance our departments. That means that the application of technologies make it possible for the auditing departments to increase its positioning and increase its influence. Well, thank you very much. So apart from some positive moments, let's switch to some more serious issues, more sad issues, if I could say that. So I would like to give the floor to Tatyana. Not just because Tatyana is a very professional person, and she's one of the most prominent auditors in the system of national banks, but Tatyana has a very quite critical points of view. She's very meticulous, very thorough in assessing any project, and quite often we have hot discussions with Tatyana. So my question, Tatyana, is the following. So apart from the positive moments that we all know and you see in the National Bank of Belarus as well, you have quite many achievements in this regard. So if we could focus on the risks as a person who first of all, assessing risks in any potential situation. So what do you see? What risks do you see in this regard? So some of them we have already touched with Oleg. Well, thank you very much, Andrei, for your very pleasant introduction. Thank you very much for this great opportunity to take part in this event. As Finapolis, I'm very pleased to be part of it every year. Because for us, given that the scale of the National Bank of Belarus is cannot be compared with the Central Bank of Russia or with Sberbank, so we are always pleased to be part of such vivid discussions. For us, first of all, it's a great opportunity to share experience, best practice, to see to make sure we are moving in the right direction and to learn about some new latest developments. So Valery was quite right, saying that today innovation technologies made a revolution in the traditional practice of audits, and artificial intelligence was one of the key tools, and it certainly has a very big potential, and it can change our profession of internal auditors. But despite all the advantages, we do understand that artificial intelligence bears a certain number of risks and threats. And first risk I would like to talk about, and certainly we have discussed it quite many times here in Finapolis, but the global community is talking about it as well. So there is a lack of transparency. So some algorithms work like black boxes, which makes it more difficult to make a solution, to define errors, potential errors. So we don't understand what data go in input, and we know what we get as a result, but how this algorithm work, we have no idea, and it's probably not right to say that this is an algorithm. So how a system works itself, it is not always clear, it's not always transparent. And that leads to some ethical problems as well. So there are quite many cases on a global scale when you set a very clear goal to the artificial intelligence. We want to get a certain result, and we want to have it in, yes, we want to have an official result. So AI, well, despite it works in a certain manner, it disregards some moral issues, some ethical problems, those that a human being would take into account. And certainly if I would make a decision, or anybody would make a decision, probably it would be quite different. So there are some security and confidentiality issues because artificial intelligence could be vulnerable for cyber attacks, and that could lead to non-sanctioned access to sensitive information. We probably should not trust for 100% to the results of AI. We should be able to analyze the information that we get as a result of AI work. At the same time, there is one more problem that have already been discussed within these 2 days. So regulatory and legal issues. So is it necessary to regulate this field? And obviously everybody says yes, certainly it shall be regulated, but we have to find a balance so that we don't put too many obstacles, or on the other side, if we neglect it and let to do whatever somebody wants to do. In order to reduce those risks to minimum, we should find a combination of ethical principles and technical advantages, raising awareness in the public fields. All that could help to minimize risks and make us possible to use all the advantages. Another risk I would like to talk about, and so the issues that link to the to the concerns of unemployment. This issue is being discussed a lot everywhere, certainly, but we should understand that on one hand, certainly automation of AI potentially can
replace some jobs, but when we talk about inner audit, internal audit, well, in the meantime, I believe and artificial intelligence won't replace auditors for 100%, at least now. Those skills that auditors have in terms of experience and understanding of the field that we do, all possibilities to analyze the context of a certain business. I think for artificial intelligence, still it's an unachievable goal. So because audit is not only about getting the data and analyze it, well, we do understand that audit is much more than that, but given that our profession is not just 3D, but it's a very comprehensive profession, so this is still a subject to discussion. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, this audience is quite different compared to what we have seen here in these 2 days, because I feel here lots of enthusiasm and everybody loves artificial intelligence. People are very often thrilled that, yes, this is our future, but at the same time, we feel that auditors are skeptical by nature and they take it very consciously. And one of the challenges that we have. We forget about the mic from time to time together with Tatyana. Other colleagues are not going to repeat this mistake. Well, in other audiences, I felt some more optimism. Here we focus more on risks, and we should understand that we actually face a very big challenge linked to the fact that in the very near future we are going to have to audit artificial intelligence itself. And I'm pretty sure we won't find an answer for this question, not from the point of methodology or science, but we should at least define the responsibility. That's what Tatyana has been talking about. Who shall stay responsible? A developer or an operator? Or who is going to bear the legal responsibility? But at least to analyze it or to make a conclusion, there should be an independent body, and it's called the audit. So besides having to learn to use those technologies, we will have to assess the efficiency of this work. And I think that's going to be the topic for our next discussions. And while I've been talking, I saw that one of our partners, Alexander, he's sitting on the very first row. He has a different point of view because he is not an auditor, he's a developer, so it would be very useful to listen to a developer in terms of all our concerns and risks. What new things have you already prepared, and what solutions could you offer in order to minimize the risks? Valery, thank you very much for invitation and for this question. First of all, I would like to say that I quite agree with the things you have highlighted. At the same time, quite right you are, that the industry faces a very serious issue of defining responsibility between the users and the developers. And yes, the models that are generative models in their latest versions, they are getting extremely complicated, like GPT chart, for example. It uses about 2 trillion input parameters. And in this regard, to understand the reason of an error is next to impossible. At the same time, the results that these models give look very nice and very true, but it might happen that they could have a mistake. So new solutions, hands-on solutions that such technologies use, well, yes, so the speed of developing them is very high, and talented teams come up with more and more hand-up solutions that businesses use. And in this regard, we should understand that responsibility, in our opinion, is a very important thing, a very important question. And professional skepticism that accompanies the profession of auditors is, yes, plays one of the key roles because to interpret the results that this black box gives you is important. Another thing I wanted to talk about is solutions that we do. VK pays a lot of attention on the development of artificial intelligence. So a few examples of its application. Perhaps they are not linked directly to internal audit. So in Russia, there is a program to protect some species of birds. And within this program, the scientists have to monitor the population of those birds. Factually, what does it mean? That scientists come to certain zones and they have to count manually the number of population of the birds. And together with the tools that are available for developers of artificial intelligence, yes, a team of scientists have developed a neural network that reduced this work from 1 week to a fraction of a second. So colleagues managed to create yes, a continuous audit of these birds. And if we talk about more practical things that we work on a daily basis, so those are the systems used by artificial intelligence. For example, digital assistants that help all colleagues in my company in taking solutions on various topics, starting from preparing documentation for business trips up to some creative stuff. For example, you can ask your digital assistant to make conclusions upon results of an online meeting, which is very useful. I think all of us have done it before, and you know that it might take a lot of time. And getting back to what Oleg has said, process mining, and Galina Yurievna, together with her team, develops this direction. So VK also has been developing its own platform on process analytics, and we have some results of studies on application artificial intelligence into this process and the forecasting, introduction of some elements that would help to automatically define some potential problems and even perhaps giving some recommendation, advice to optimize those processes. Well, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. So you see, developers give some inspiration, talking about potential and nice future of opportunities that artificial intelligence gives us. Getting back to the risks, we know that not only in this section we have heard about yes, risk of unemployment and problem of qualified personnel and so on and so forth. Also, it has been said that using some automated system, including artificial intelligence, there will be a lower demand in certain experts. Some of them won't be able to find a job. So this is a very acute problem. But today we know that many companies face the problem that there is a lack for qualified personnel. The competition is very tough. And sometimes it's almost impossible to replace an employee or lack of employees. And many companies are trying to find different solutions. In this regard, it's very interesting to hear about Rostelecom ideas, who is trying to develop softwares and use artificial intelligence and replace the lack of personnel to engage, or in other words, to engage artificial intelligence in human resource work. So I think, Anna, you will share with us your developments. You've been talking about our project called Lukamori. It's very well known, and in this regard.
So honestly, I did not prepare for this question. So we do have this idea to introduce a platform for developers so that by itself, based on neural networks, will let us decrease the shortage of designers, IT specialists. Well, that is something what our country has faced over the past time, and I'm not talking about the past 2 years. That shortage of skilled personnel had been there for a long time, and that was a well-known risk, and I'm sure that all large companies would include that risk in their risk management programs, because the scope of tasks is exponential, and it will never stop, and I think it's more than exponential. So it is a very interesting experience in terms of establishing a platform, talking about the internal audit and putting the bridge and seeing how the company is developing and how high is the company in terms of its high technologies and where and how it should develop. We cannot be aside from technologies, and in order for us to keep the pace with the businesses, and you may know that our profession requires not only to be in line with the business, but actually be ahead of the business in terms of our expertise, in terms of our very good understanding of the audited area. And that was one of the prerequisites that helped us choose an alternative journey compared to what Oleg was talking about. And we decided to take the path of developing our internal competences, and I will tell you what made us do so. Well, fundamental difference between the financial system and an IT company is the fact that we have a few less regulations or criteria that would define auditing procedures and tasks for the audits and tasks for AI doing the audits. So we should not forget that the majority of our developments are based on agile approach, when everything is changing while we are doing something, and today things change very quickly, and process mining is really a very good instrument that helps us save lots of time and energy, but this is something what we cannot use all the time, and process mining does not always provide the expected effect. So what is left to do? We have to self train ourselves, and we have to educate our system, our neural nets, because in other words, we are training our AI how to perform an audit. And Oleg was right by talking about the quality of data. But besides the data quality and the processing, before we enter the data into any program, for our company, it is also important to understand the source of data, because there are various pools of data and various information systems. And we as auditors should understand IT architecture really well in order to determine the auditing algorithms for the nets, and to understand what we want to receive from artificial intelligence. Because after all, continuing the discussion that Alexander Uzan started during the previous plenary session, I can say that we decided to partner with AI. We decided to interact with it as a full-fledged partner that teaches us, that helps us where we are not perfect in terms of speed, in terms of accuracy of data processing. But we address good questions to AI. We give the points that should be taken into consideration to form analytics, but we want it to learn and replicate the logics that we provide, and then and only then we can move on to more practical process mining. When the mechanism of auditing is standardized, very shortly I will say that we have formed the possibilities of AI. So there is high, moderate, and low level of AI, and at the low level we use easy tools like interactive cards or visualization cards. These are BI things that have been in place for a while. At the medium level, we use robotic tools. For instance, when we process large sets of data, documents, or scripts for deciphering text, because after all we have a large sets of data that we receive from call center, and there are some items that are related to physical things, like receiving the equipment and checking the equipment parameters with the task assignment. So to give the checking task is important for AI, and it is very important to identify inconsistencies, deviations, and logistics processes per se are scanned and analyzed for shortcomings. And then AI can perform very complex analytical tasks, and that is something what we want our AI to do. If we want it to be an efficient assistant, and we ideally would like AI to use the tree decision-making tools, and we may sometimes there are things that we could not even think of, certain aspects, and the human brain is not able to include all risk factors in the analytics, but AI can. And summing up, I would say that a good challenge for the future for us will be the audit of the neural nets, because and their algorithm. Well, our company uses AI in each process, in each department, and this ubiquitous use cannot but present a new area for internal audit. Thank you. Yulia Valeryevna, we know very well that Moscow is a very high-tech city, if worldwide, if not the most high-tech city, and of course we can even regard it as a state inside a state in terms of the huge population and in terms of various management processes that the government of Moscow is in charge of, and of course, the challenge related to controlling and monitoring these processes is huge, and we could observe that many times. On the other hand, you, like your colleagues, also have lots of opportunities. So it would be very interesting to learn from you what are the advantages for developing audit opportunities related to using AI. And a very simple question. Who is the boss, the AI or so far still humans? Where are you in terms of your interaction with AI? Well, thank you, Valery. Thank you very much for the invitation. For us, this session is very inspiring. We are always looking forward to it. And Valery gives us the tasks, and then we get together next year and we check the results, the performance, and so on. So let me tell you what we have done. I can tell you that I perform a very interesting role because now I'm part of the Department of Natural Resources Use, and prior to that, I belong to a different department, and I have a chance to look at AI from the standpoint of financial audit, and some other departments as well. And I think that Moscow is a leader indeed. And what is important for us is the TAMP to transfer from the subsequent control to the previous one. And what our colleagues said so far, it has to do with facts and events that already have taken place, and then we are trying to understand what happened. And not long ago, I heard a great metaphor that AI is an army of very productive beings, but they are they are oriented only on one task. So in terms of subsequent control, it is really good. It's good that you have a huge army, but like my colleague from Siberia said, that this army is not for free. You really need to train it well. But once you have it, it opens fantastic opportunities. So in terms of audit, there's when you have your special representation or randomization, that those problems are already not there anymore, because now we can have 100% change. But if you talk about reasons analysis, about cause and effect analysis, about reasons for various shortcomings emergence, here the approach should be more dialectic. And AI is only a mathematical model. And if we remove beautiful rhetorics of developers who say that artificial intelligence already smiles to you, but we understand that this is a set of mathematical functions. And in 1970s, when we developed the theories of management, there were two competing approaches, model-based and not model-based. And AI is a purely mathematical approach when we compare things and find correlations. But when it comes to control, when it comes to attempt to identify root causes and so on, this approach may not be really good. I will show you several examples when we believe that things work well. So control over the quality of municipal territories, it's a very important component because the city spends lots of time lots of money to make the city more beautiful. So we trained AI to identify any disturbances or problems, for instance, some paintings on the walls and some holes in the ground and so on. So instead of having inspectors, now we have 20 cars driving around the city. AI comes up with the routes, and we have already a situation center that tracks these problems. So we believe that it's a very positive example. Then we work with contractors and so on. And we believe that it's a very good example of using the AI. Oh, I will give you another example. Here is the construction. We have 3D urban model, and whenever we have any new construction project, we always can observe the progress. We can understand where we are and whether there are any serious deviations. I'll give you another example from my new practice. This is a control over the waste products. It is not a secret that it may be a problem, and we have a center for managing the traffic that tracks trucks, and if for instance waste was thrown away somewhere, we can track that, and then we can issue a fine. Or another point, at the Sparrow Hills, there are lots of sporting facilities, and this hill actually it goes down, it slides down. So in order to manage the processes automatically, we drilled the holes, we've inserted sensors, and now AI decides whether the sliding stage is dangerous or not, and can any other additional facilities can be built there or not. So when you need to do lots of observation, and when there is a need to use this huge army that will observe something, AI is a great tool and provides great opportunities. However, when you receive a signal, a decision should be made by humans, and answering your question, the final word is always given to individuals. Talking about some challenges and risks. Of course, that has to do with skilled personnel, but we need to think jointly how this can be integrated in our profession. Right now, there is an illusion that a first-year student can take a neural network, take data, and come up with a good result. And many people believe that you don't really have to study hard, but you can learn how to download neural nets, and that is it. By the way, I still have 2 minutes, I think that we need to get back to some fundamental things like theory of management or mathematics, because at Moscow State University department we had lots of mathematics. We looked at the limits of using statistical methods and so on. But right now, people neglect that. But fundamental modeling or is something where you need to understand of cause and effect relations, and it's very important to establish those causal links, and they are very important. So wrapping up, I will say that we need to exercise a more dialectic approach here. On one hand, use it where it helps, where it can perform some easy tasks, and then we need to, on the other hand, think how to train our personnel. So
Thank you. Thank you for your very informative report. From my side, I would like to give a short comment so our audience understands it better. So Yulia mentioned that by my decree, by the decree of the government of Moscow, but we do it within the Council of the Management of Risks and in audits, and we've been talking about the methodologies. So the central bank votes for the urban management and so on and so forth, but it's not fully responsible for that. Well, nice. It is nice when when Sberbank loves to give more opportunities or more authorities to the central bank. Well, Valery, there are certain things could bear certain responsibilities, not artificial intelligence. So I would not give a long introduction to the report of Galina. Everybody knows Galina very well. And many of you have a chance to learn more about the latest developments that Galina and her department has done. You should not answer directly to my questions, but recently we've paid a visit to you and we were really impressed by the developments. What have you managed to do in the last 2 or 3 weeks? Perhaps you don't have any human beings in your department, but only artificial intelligence. Well, colleagues. In fact, I don't. Sorry. No, I don't think that we are that's very high compared to Rostelecom and other highly automated companies because we are a big industrial holding and we stand firm. We stand firm on the land. So yes, I'm myself. I'm a person who stands on land. And if we talk about artificial intelligence, so I wouldn't focus on the AI itself, but about the new tools. Well, I don't think we even should call them innovations. Well, we more are talking about everyday or daily work that does not require billions, as Oleg says. This is our work that helps to make our work better. And if we want to replace auditors with machine work in order to give more time to auditors to come up with more efficient ideas, well, that's okay. That's okay. In this forum, I got a very clear understanding on the concept. I actually told Oleg, I said, what is cross-mind? What is that? Is it artificial intelligence or not? And then I've been thinking about it, but if we talk about cross-mining, it's a very simple instrument that makes it possible to make a very easy tasks. This is the main core of it. If you still have not used it, try it. It doesn't matter where you will buy it. You can buy a very simple box and see how it works. But why is it very close to artificial intelligence? Because it gets more and more features, analytical features, and some hands-on experience like reducing analytics and various opportunities that make it possible to analyze things at a higher way. And not just to make some conclusions, but also to give a gift to your business to operate better. As for this forum, I got an idea that I shaped very well in my mind. I love the idea that artificial intelligence gets into the processes. And that is what we do in cross-mining. So processes start to get, well, I'm talking about our specific profession. So the process is get independent control that an inline node could be analyzed, and not only analyzed, but the results could be shown not only within the company, but also in a professional community between contractors and suppliers. And I think the biggest, yes, the greatest opportunity to use cross-mining is the interaction between the platforms at the level of several businesses. So at the level of business community, and that is developing very fast in future. So I really believe in cross-mining and its potential. I believe it's going to be an integrator that will bring together various IT systems. So for it, it doesn't matter for it what IT system you use, you employ. I think in the last 2 weeks, one of the most interesting topics has been analysis of flows. For us, it's a kind of revolution. Why is it? Because it can work. It can track, the flow of oil in a tube and so on, that no cross-mining can work on. I believe that we are going to be the very first one in this regard, and this is a great tool for industries, for industrial companies, give you lots of advantages. For example, at a natural resource spot, it can analyze various data on the gas density, let's say, and set a barrier. It can accumulate. This is only. It's only an idea. That's I just want to explain you how it works. So it sees, for example, the gas density, high gas density. It sets a limit called Kir, and it writes a letter to certain people that are in charge of this area. And if there is another limit, so the higher the risk, the higher responsibility, as we all understand. But cross-mining, it's one of the directions. I really love it, and I'm ready to talk about it for hours, but I call yes, I encourage everybody to try it. Come to our company, go to Oleg, go to any developers, and we will be very happy to share our developments. Another direction, I call it robot auditor, or auditing robots. But we have 2 ways. We would really love to make a robot. And we've been working together with Sber in order to make up to develop a project to recognize to define certain data. So it will recognize data, drones, scannings, including land scanning. So, for example, there was a case when we paid for a building of a tube or a pipe, and the pipe was not installed. In fact, so this is another direction that we are working at. But capital building, so it's a very serious project, and that robot is a very ambitious project as well. But it will help to do lots of work to help auditors. And another story is what everybody is going to need. So robot audit is a nice word, but it's a very easy procedure, analytical procedure that shall be automated. And in order to make it easier, in order to make it easier for the next generation of auditors, for example, writing a script to define, for example, breaking down procurements, broken down procurements, or writing a script to search Dublin. Not Dublin procurements or Dublin. So we have a large digital program, large software, a big software. So a script aimed to define doubling programs in businesses in order to make people understand what everybody is in charge of. So to find insufficient practices and businesses that will make a business more efficient. So such small things they will be accumulated and then they will be roped. So I say to my auditors, why don't you do it? The ideas are the most important. And I quite agree with Yulia Valeryevna. We are at a moment of development, at a stage of development when a human being responds for 100% of success. And it depends on us how artificial intelligence will look like in the future. And it's not a nice motto. It's a very interesting hands-on work. If I have a minute, I would like to say a very important thing. In this work, a human being is the most important component. And what breaks do we have? Sometimes it's a fear of new things, or fear of innovations. People are scared, or people are used to work at certain environments, but we have to overcome this fear. We have to to reconsider our system of motivation and find enthusiasm in new things. And the second thing is cooperation. Cooperation is extremely important. It's important for our country. It's important for our industry, because you can't live today by many reasons, including developing IT technologies. We can't live only in the world of competition. We have to live in the world of cooperation. We have to share experience. We have to share best practices. And it applies to small communities. It applies to large communities. And the more we share, the faster we grow. And if we talk about people and artificial intelligence, if we compare them, so that is going to be our competitive advantage, cooperation, support, development, growth, and trying to change the world for the better, making very small steps, achieving small things that will lead us to a very big and prominent result. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivan. Do we have results of our votes? Can we show them on screen? Okay, so just to make a conclusion of our conference. So who is going to be efficient in 20-year time? Artificial intelligence. Well, our audience, I can see it. So not everybody believes entirely in artificial intelligence. So we see in the field of medicine and services, regardless, Moscow encourages us that many diagnoses will be made automated. So there are quite many skeptical people here in this audience. But so we see, yes, that in terms of finance, people do not, artificial intelligence does not see us, but we see that human beings have a different opinion. So, and this is the main conclusion of our discussion, because during today's discussion, we were trying to find an answer to the question, who is going to win, or who is going to be the first, artificial intelligence or human beings? And I'm convinced that this is a question of the balance, because there are some spheres where the presence of artificial intelligence will prevail, but there are some spheres where artificial intelligence will play a less prominent role. The problem is that, the history of human beings is that when there was a new technology would be introduced, people started, we started a new niches, and today the challenge is that when we replace people, we do not offer them new opportunities where they could fulfill themselves, their potential. So when we free people from some routine operations that could be done by artificial intelligence, people should be offered something else. And we need to provide supports. We need to provide perhaps more creative work, more intellectual work for people in order to grow, in order to grow professionally. So then that threat of unemployment would disappear. So I deeply believe that this is our direction. So I would like to wish you all the success, despite artificial intelligence is not lagging behind. Thank you very much. Thank you to all our speakers.
Коллеги,